And you said buy commodities. I asked you what specifically, and you said that one just couldn't go wrong with the RJI Commodities Index. Well, that is over 56% year over year and over 27% year to date. So you definitely called that one correctly. If we weren't smart enough to listen to you then, Jim, is it too late to listen to you now? Can one still make that play into the RJI Commodities Index?
I think I better stop while I'm ahead. No, I mean, maybe a RJA, you could buy agriculture. Agriculture is still incredibly cheap on a historic basis, but most commodities, well, I'd say RJI or RJA. RJA would probably be better because it's purely agriculture. And Michelle, agriculture has been a disaster for a long, long, long time. The average age of farmers in America is 58 years old. More people study public relations than study agriculture in America. So something's got to happen. We're not going to have any clothes. We're not going to have any food. So I would buy agriculture.
Okay, so the best way to protect a portfolio or to benefit from the current crisis that we're in is to invest in agricultural commodities.
Well, yes, that's right. That's exactly what I just got through saying. Or you could watch Kitco. Kitco can tell you ways to do these things. Kitco's been giving people advice since I was a kid.
Just
not since I was a kid. Yeah.
I don't know if we've been around that long for at least the news sector, but just summarizing your position there, because look, you called it right. So does that mean that you're not that bullish on hard commodities and a potential commodity supercycle in hard commodities, with the exception of agricultural commodities?
I got silver. I didn't buy it from Kitco, but I've got silver, and everybody can get silver. I'm not buying it at the moment because if the war ends or something, they'll go down for a while. And I do plan to buy more silver and probably more gold in the next correction, because before this is over, Michelle, everybody's going to own a lot of gold and silver. They always do when there's a big crisis and big turmoil.
All right. Well, there are concerns of recession and even worse, stagflation, if we do get slowing growth with rising inflation. So again, other than the agricultural commodities, what would that mean for hard commodities that are intended to benefit from things like the trend to decarbonize? Do you still see a rally there?
Well, silver, yes.
Silver,
when they correct, which they will at the end of the war, or when the war ends, I suspect silver and gold will be very good over the next several years after they correct, because there's going to be more turmoil, going to be problems, more money printing. I mean, whenever people lose confidence in currency or in governments, they buy gold and silver, despite what the politicians tell you, despite what the academics say. Michelle, I'm an old peasant, and us old peasants know that when things go wrong, we want some silver in the closet. We want some gold under the bed, because we want to survive.
Are you adding to your gold and silver positions at this current level?
Nope, not now. I'm waiting for something to happen to cause a correction. I mean, both have been going up a lot in the last year or so. So no, I'd rather buy when things go down. I learned that from Kitco. Buy low, not buy high, and we will see.
All right. Well, you have said, speaking of gold and silver and dollar debasement, you have said that a casualty of this conflict could likely be the US dollar as a global reserve currency, that the dominance of the US dollar is potentially at risk here because it's being used as a political tool in this conflict. Can you expand on that for us?
Well, a reserve currency, or an international medium of exchange, is supposed to be neutral. Anybody should be able to use it for anything. Buy drugs, pay your girlfriend, buy gold, buy a car, whatever you want. But the U.S. is now has changed those rules and said, wait a minute, if we get angry at you, you're not going to be able to U.S. dollars. So many people are saying, wait a minute, I'm not going to pull my dollars. Russia, China, India, many countries are looking for an alternative or a competitor to the U.S. dollar for political reasons, but also for economic reasons. The U.S. is the largest debtor nation in the history of the world. No international medium of exchange has lasted more than 100, 150 years, 80 years, whatever. Well, the U.S. has been on top a long time, so it's coming to an end. I don't like saying it. I'm an American, for goodness sakes, but I have to face facts or I'll go down the tubes like everybody else. No, I can see what's happening. Many, many people, even friends of the U.S., are now saying, wait a minute, we got to be careful because these guys could freeze us. They could lock us out of the system, and then we're doomed.
So given the fact that the US dollar has been used to curtail Russia's aggression, you're saying that that serves to accelerate the pace of its demise as a global reserve currency, as the king of all currencies. Do you have a timeline that you care to put out there where you think this could happen by?
It's not going to happen in March 2022, I assure you, but they're all working on it now. They have been working on it, trying to come up with a competitor. I don't know what it's going to be. If you know, Michelle, please don't say it out loud. Send me an email so I can buy it too. I'm looking for what's going to replace or compete with the US dollar. But think about all the countries in the world that could have a problem with the US. They're thinking the same thing. I mean, Washington has sent everybody an email saying, be careful. I mean, China, Russia, Iran, India, Brazil, many of these countries are already trying to figure out, okay, what do we do to find something to compete with or maybe even replace the US dollar? I don't know what it is yet. I wish I did.
So is it likely to be another fiat currency, or as many are suggesting, that this is where Bitcoin, for example, comes in and fills the void?
Well, I don't see it being a Bitcoin. It might be an electronic currency, but it would be a government currency. Governments are not going to give up their power. They're not going to give up their monopoly. At least they never have. I don't think, every government in the world is working on computer money now. In China, you can't take a taxi with Chinese money. You can't buy an ice cream with Chinese money. You can only use computer money. But that's happening all over the world. The U.S. is working on it. And when the U.S. says, okay, this is money now, I don't think Washington is going to say, but if you want to use that money over there, you can use their money.